this movie had a lot going against it right when it came out, and critics really tore it apart, and for reasonably so, for all the things that Wyatt's saying. Like there wasn't the kind of action you would expect to see from the trailers. Like, there was a bit of a letdown there. And I couldn't agree more with, like, the last scene, because they're fighting this giant, like, spider tank. And you're like, okay, this is, like, the second to last boss.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
they're definitely going to, like, learn something from this. It wasn't an impressive
machine that she was fighting. She didn't do anything special other than run and jump on top of it. I mean,
that's what I don't know if that's, like, the original ending to the manga or whatever, where it was at first, too. So.
And then in regards to, like, Scarlett Johansson, they do explain it. I do understand people being upset that it took away from an Asian actress, but the original woman was Asian, and was put into a body that just happened to look like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, because there was that scene where so she's the ghost in the shell, which I will say by the end of the movie I was like, I get it.
Yeah,
I get why they're saying that now. So she goes to visit this woman that she thinks has some connection to her, this older Japanese woman, and that's when she realizes that, oh, this is my mother that I'm actually talking to. And I was like, this has to just make the people who are mad about whitewashing even more angry. You're trying to sell me that Scarlett Johansson's mother is like an Asian, because that's even more frustrating for people. But then it was like, okay, maybe. In her actual life.
They could have made her male.
They could have made her male.
I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The body doesn't even matter at that point.
Yeah.
I just thought that the action was a letdown. I thought they really could have done a lot more with it. I really did like the actor that played Kelsey, whatever.
Yeah, I couldn't get any of the names.
The bad guy's name. And he did because that actor only plays, I don't know his actor's name, but he's in Murder by Numbers and he's in Funny Games.
Yeah.
And he only plays that really introverted, nerdy guy.
Oh, he was in Funny Games. Yeah. That's where I know him from. Okay. Cool.
It's like he's the opposite of Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
And he fit that role, and he did a really good job of being a really creepy dude. And
Michael Pitt, I think. Is that him?
Yep, that's him.
Michael Pitt.
And he just did a fantastic
Any relation?
job.
Can you look and see if there's any relation there? I think there is relation.
To Brad Pitt?
Yeah, I think there's relation. It might be crazy. It might be a cousin.
Oh, look.
Thanks, man. Fact checker's back. We got a fact checker, buddy. This is great. All right. Here's the other issue that I had with this movie, just like slight issue. It felt the whole time that there was going to be a twist. And there was a decent twist, like a small twist.
That you saw coming.
Yeah. But I thought the whole time that there was going to be a backstabber. Like somebody that she was working with on her team ends up being the bad guy. And they're all pretty good dudes fighting for her. And they introduced a lot of characters that they never went back to, which is my biggest pet peeve in movies. Yeah. But I guess the reason that I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it, ultimately, because a lot of people were just panning this movie and saying how horrible it was because, I don't know, I really like my TV, and I think I have a nice TV, and it looked fucking great on my TV. And then I realized how distracted I was the whole time. I was like, fuck, I'm not listening to the plot. I'm just looking at how cool that looks. I'm not paying attention.
That city kind of it's beautiful and ugly at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's really...
Do you know what...
It's gaudy, it's gross and unclean, and everybody looks kind of miserable and homeless almost.
Yeah.
And you kind of get nervous. You're like, oh, we got to be like that one day? We got to be so technologically advanced that cities are going to cover continents and look like that?
Yeah.
And, you're like,
and they do that fucking thing, a pet peeve of futuristic movies like this, in futuristic cities. Everything's got holograms.
Yeah.
Apparently the future is just holograms, guys.
Filled with hologram billboards.
And they're all horrible resolution. They're all cutting in and out and really bad and fuzzy.
Flickery.
And people's computer screens are all hologram computer screens, and they're you can barely see anything that's on it. I'm like, no, I don't want that. We just got retina displays on our phones. Why would we want this? This is crap.
The giant building decided to be an ad, and whatever ad they put on there was a hologram of a political campaign. It's a guy giving a thumbs up, and it's just flickering and half cut out every once in a while, and he's moving. It just looks bad, and you're like, you just made an entire billboard out of a building, and it looks stupid as fuck.
So, I mean, ultimately, would I recommend watching it? Yes, if you're playing something on your computer or whatever, and it's on in the background,
exactly.
It's probably worth putting on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But there's another movie we liked.
Yes, one that I think
Kirsten
we all
hasn't
saw.
Finished it yet, so I don't know if she wants. So we gotta be careful what we say.
The UK if we spoil
You can spoil it.
Baby Driver.
No, I'm not okay. I might watch that.
Do you really? You're gonna watch Baby Driver?
I've heard it's very good. I don't want to.
If we gave
Buddy,
you,
it's really good.
Let's
Yeah,
go
I don't-
spoiler free.
We'll
Spoiler
go
free on
spoiler-free.
it.
I just
Spoiler
give me
free.
a premise because I don't totally know what it's about. I just heard it's good.
This tiny little cute baby gets
That's
the
boss
keys
baby.
to a car.
You can't trick me.
It's essentially a heist movie. Kevin Spacey leads bank heists, and he's sort of the shady character that pulls together a team for each heist. The team is always different, but this main character's name is literally Baby, and he's the driver. So he's this young kid, and like just by looking at him, everybody else in the heist is always kind of like, "What the fuck's this kid doing here? Like, is he even old enough to be here? Like, whatever, blah blah blah." And they always like rat on him. But turns out you find out no. I don't think this is a spoiler, but like in the first scene of the movie, like, oh, he's a great fucking driver. Like, he's fantastic.
and the driving scenes, you never actually see the heist. You only see the driving scenes, and they're fucking awesome.
That's true, I guess. I never
They're
even considered
so
that.
good.
Yeah, they're
like
really
the driving
good.
scenes are so good, and it's more of an art, in my opinion, an art piece. It's like not a musical, but almost a musical.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
swear
I
to
was
God.
gonna say the soundtrack was so good.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
And they never
The way they
cut away.
incorporated the soundtrack too is fantastic.
They'll do entire scenes without cutting away. He'll dance as he's walking to get coffee, and it's so unbelievably artsy, and it was so under advertised, and I think underappreciated. So I think if you guys get a chance to watch Baby Driver, it's not just a heist movie; it's an art piece. I feel like it was probably a Sundance Film Festival award winner, and that's why.
So it was done by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is a director who I really like, and he's done movies like Shaun of the Dead is one of his movies. Hot Fuzz is another Edgar Wright movie. At World's End, that's the Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
No,
I think
World's End, the bar. World's End.
Yeah,
World's End. So he does like
He's the chunky guy.
Nick Frost. Nick Frost is
He's
the
the chunky. So he's the skinny guy.
No, he's not either of those guys.
Simon
He's
Pegg
just the
is
director,
the-
and it's Simon
I
Pegg
thought the
and Nick
chunky
Frost.
guy was also a co-writer on
He might-
Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, I think he writes and stuff. Edgar Wright's the director, though, so I don't know if he writes these movies or whatever. And I think it's called the Coronado trilogy. I think Hot Fuzz and World's End and
Let's Run, Fat Boy, Run.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
I think that's also Edgar Wright.
Yeah,
Well,
it
buddy,
is.
if you're actually gonna go see a movie, you should go see that one.
Okay.
Well, not go, but just
Yeah,
rent it.
it might be in the Dollar Theater. That would be actually really fun.
You know what they did with the Dollar Theater?
What they do with it?
They turned it into a regular theater.
Those sons of bitches!
How dare they?
They have
Actually-
one job.
I know. It's like a.
That flies directly in the face of what I'm sure their original mission
Buddy,
statement
you
was.
don't go see movies regardless of whether
I know,
it's the
I'm just
Dollar
upset
Theater or
about-
not. Why are you upset about
The
this?
principle of
I've
it.
been to it, and the principle of the thing.
What
if
were
I-
they really $1 these days, though?
They weren't $1, but they were cheap. They were a couple dollars.
But you-
What's a dollar movie theater?
But if you
charge
go to a
these days?
matinee movie, even of a new release movie, if it's a matinee, it's $5.
Right,
That's cheap
well,
as fuck.
Okay, so this is
Paying
like a
$12
True,
East
at Marcus, and you get the seats,
Yeah.
and you get Marcus, which fucking God,
I
Marcus
love
is
Marcus.
the best theater.
He's the greatest.
How do we get them as a sponsor?
I don't know, we
Marcus,
figured it
if
out.
you're listening, look, Mark, can you just? I'm sure the guy's name is Mark Marcus. Mark J. Marcus.
Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. You remember that
What did
show?
you say?
I don't know
No,
what you're
you
saying.
guys have never. Oh my god.
Are
No,
you going
please,
to
I want you to-
criticize us for not seeing something?
It's
I
the
want you
Fairly
to-
Odd Parents. That show that used to be on Nickelodeon.
I
Yeah.
loved that show.
I know.
Oh,
Anyways.
you guys Fairly Odd Parents fans?
Yes,
You were okay. Kier was. Did you watch it, Kendall?
and I would watch it occasionally, but I was never that in.
Big following on the Fairly Odd Parents. No, but like I've heard like a lot of people really
That's
love
because
it.
it was really great.
Was it like something that would be funny now, like
Yes.
a cartoon that would
I think
still
it would
be funny?
be funnier now.
Okay.
You know what else is funnier now too? You ever watch SpongeBob nowadays? What that show?
going?
Where are we going? But we're going. Here we go. We'll get back to Baby Driver in a second.
SpongeBob is so. I think it's even funnier than
Let's
when we were
use-
younger.
Let's use this as a topic today.
All right, this is my topic.
Okay, but because we'll have to have the one that you had prepared.
Yeah, what was
ready
the
for
one
next
you had
week.
prepared?
I had a good one prepared.
You
actually.
bullshit.
Did you actually have a good
I
one?
actually had one.
Okay, all right. Then we'll use the topic for the ladies today. They can use 90s cartoons, and we'll rank them. That's a good one, actually. That's a good one.
You're welcome.
Teaser until topics. Baby Driver. So again, without spoiling anything, like the thing that I loved the most about this movie is that there was probably throughout the entire movie no more than 20 cuts of the camera. Like, the camera didn't cut, like, more than 20 times. Like, every scene lasted, like, a solid 10 minutes at least. And, like, the way that they would shoot the scene, you could tell, like, man, they had to really rehearse this. Like, the blocking for the scenes where the person had to go from point A to point B to point C to point D and have the camera track and follow them all the way there. It was so impressive, especially the scene that Wyatt's talking about when he goes and gets coffee. It's like, holy shit. Like, and that's like one of the earlier scenes in the movie, and like right away, like Kendall looked over at me and she's like, "You're gonna love this movie, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna love this movie."
I was hooked. And when I saw the driving scene at the beginning and the coffee scene at the beginning, I was hooked on that movie the rest of the movie. My only complaint is the last sequence of events is very long. It's not bad.
I agree.
It is so long. You're just
I agree. I liked the movie a lot. I would say it started so good and it just didn't really end there for me.
It didn't really know what to do with itself. I wish they would have put a bow on it a little quicker.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, Kevin Spacey's in it, Jamie Foxx is in it,
John Hamm
is in it. I feel like
I know that girl,
Hispanic girl.
She's really attractive. I don't know who that person
Oh,
is.
she was okay.
Okay, yeah, because
I mean, I've seen better.
Nice save. Ryan.
I've seen better.
I've dated better, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, like, totally recommend. Please watch it, buddy. You can do one of your buddy movie reviews on it.
I could, yeah.
You're so good at
We'll
doing.
get that next year in
Movie review number
2018.
two.
Next year, yeah. Yeah. Okay, one thing that I wanted to mention really quickly before we sort of move on to the topics phase too. I would be remiss, and I'm sorry, this is going to get into video games just for a quick second. I have been playing the new Shadow of War game, the Middle-earth based, Lord of the Rings based game. That is made by the same people, Warner Brothers Montreal, who did the Batman games. And so it plays really similar to the Batman games, which I talk about on the show a lot of times. This is like one of my favorite game series of all time. But this is set in the Lord of the Rings universe, which I'm not a huge fan of Lord of the Rings or Tolkien. I mean, I think they're okay. I really enjoyed the first 3 movies. You don't really have to know those to play this game or anything like that.
I enjoyed them too.
Did you? Did you see all 3?
No.
Are you serious? You didn't see any of the Lord of the Rings movies?
They're too long.
They are too long.
I've seen them on. I hated all of them.
Fell asleep through every single one. I never finished a single one of them. Not a fan.
I'm not a fan either.
I can't use you guys
it
falling
is
asleep
4
at
to
the
1.
beginning of a movie as like a reason not to watch
Here,
the movie.
the-
That list would be as long as the list of movies
I stayed
Buddy
awake
hasn't seen.
through a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Never one of those.
Kirsten stays awake a lot. I'm very rarely does she fall. If she's falling asleep, I'm falling asleep too.
Word.
When it
every
comes,
time I've ever watched a movie with you and I fall asleep, you get really mad at me.
I do. Well, yeah, because we're watching a movie that I was like, dude, this is a good movie.
That's
fucking need
always
to
how it
watch
happens, yeah. And
Yeah.
then you're
It's
asleep
really-
immediately.
Kirsten and I watch new movies. We never really watch movies that one of us has already seen. We always watch brand new ones. So it gives a fuck. If we fall
That's the way to
asleep
do it. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, the reason, I mean, Lord of the Rings had a disadvantage with me already from the get-go. I don't like fantasy. I don't like,
This is why you don't watch Game of Thrones.
I'm not a fan of fantasy. I don't like Excalibur stuff. I don't like medieval stuff. I don't like
I didn't know
wizards.
that about you.
And I don't dislike them. I'm just not a big fan.
I was gonna say I don't like that stuff either.
Yeah.
I like modern and future, not past.
I'm not a huge fan of that either. I think Game of Thrones is the exception for me, and then this game is pretty fun. But other than that, I don't really seek out fantasy. Buddy, aren't you a rather large fantasy fan? Don't you have a lot of books? What's that book series that you really enjoyed?
I really liked the Pendragon series growing up. But it sounds like Wizard or like Pendragon, but it wasn't.
Oh, it's not
that.
Okay.
I did like World of Warcraft. That was a good movie.
I did like that too. I watched that randomly one day.
And you don't even need to like video games
Yeah.
or like that, like know anything about World of Warcraft to actually enjoy that movie.
That's
It's
one of
good.
those movies you just like pop on. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm watching this. I'm like, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Like another one that's just
exactly
like
what I did.
eye candy, and it looks really cool. Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, I think it's probably time to transition.
Well, can I actually say one more thing?
I already started the transition.
Did you already start?
It's already started. No, yeah, you can say one more thing.
So before we get into the transitioning, I did read a book. Actually, Brogan recommended this to me. It's by an author, John Scalzi. I believe. That's the correct first name. I know his last name's Scalzi, and it's a book called Red Shirts. And for anybody that knows anything about Star Trek or the sci-fi scenario or the trope of, there's an away mission. They go on an objective to, leave the ship and go do something, and they'll take the main characters, and if any extras comes along, the purpose of them coming along is to die for dramatic effect. And that's the whole purpose of this book. It's about a guy who's a new ensign or red shirt that joins this ship. And when he's on that ship, he realizes that every time there's an away mission where one of the main bridge officers go on it, people die. And the death rate of away missions is extremely high, and nobody's addressing